Welcome to another episode of the Para Cave podcast. And now over to your host, Troy Warner, broadcasting live from the world-famous Para Cave.
And yes, hello and welcome back to another episode of the Para Cave podcast. It is the tipping podcast. It is round number 3 of the NRL. And beside me, I have young Ella beside me. How you going, Ella?
Good.
Are you ready for round 3?
Yes.
Okay, can you believe we're 3 weeks into the competition already?
No, it feels like we did our first one of the year like yesterday.
Yes, I know, but it is round 3, and the tipping podcast and tipping competition is brought to you by Assure Strata Reports. Give them a follow on Instagram, and also Buddy Oldman Masters Boxer, give him a follow on Facebook as well. Thank you very much, guys, for your support of the Para Cave podcast and sponsoring the tipping competition as well. We really appreciate that. Now, before we get started into our tips and the games, let's just go through the top 8 of the tipping competition at the moment as it stands. I did the post on Monday, so you'll find that on Instagram. I'll do the post up there. It will filter through to Facebook as well. Number 1, Jaden Zaid, 18 points. Perfect round, I think, in round number 1. So very consistent there over the 2 weeks. Pricey 08, 16 points. Number 2. Number 3, Flopstar.
Flopstar?
Yeah. Probably in reference to Nathan Highmarsh, maybe. 15 points. Eels 2025 Premiers 13. Amanda WW on 12. Wow. Amanda putting us to shame, I think, in the top 5.
Yes.
There we go. What's going on there? Might have to get her on the podcast. Sport First, Nam Bucker, 11 points in 6th spot. Skyvo, I think it's pronounced, 11 points in 7th, and rounding out the top 8, MG Coaching on 11 points as well, only on differential there. Ella, you are in 56th spot on 8 points.
Well, on my app it says I am 57.
I don't know what's happened there, but anyway, I'm going off the post that I did on Monday, and I am in 69th spot on 7 points. So I've got a lot of work to do to get back up the top there. Now, the round 3 kicks off with a cracker of a game. It is last year's grand final. It is Penrith versus Melbourne, or I should say Melbourne.
Yeah, I just realised that is last year's grand final.
Yeah. Which the Panthers won 14-6, but we should go back. Yeah, of course
they won. They're the best.
We should go back to it is the Melbourne Storm taking on the Penrith Panthers at Amy Park, 8 p.m. on Thursday night. Round number 3. What a cracking game to kick that one off. Look, if we look through the two sides, Grant Anderson comes onto the wing there. Look, pretty much unchanged lineup for the Melbourne Storm from what I can see there. So they had the bye last week, so they had the week off after absolutely annihilating Parramatta in round 1. So they'll be fresh, ready to go. And for the Panthers, let's have a look at their side.
Go Panthers.
They look like they have the same side that went down to the Roosters, although Brad Schneider has made his way onto the interchange bench in number 14. Liam Henry as well interchanged there. Luke Garner interchanged as well. So, look, this is going to be a cracker of a game. Last week, the Panthers went down to the Roosters 38 points to 32. The Storm, as I said, week 1 in the round 1 against Parramatta. I don't really want to talk about that one too much, but anyway, last time these two sides played, it was the grand final. The Panthers won 14 points to 6. And the previous time to that, it was the Storm who got over the Panthers 24 points to 22. That game played at Penrith Stadium. That was on a Thursday night as well. So, look, I think this is going to be, as I said, a cracker of a game. There could be a lot of points scored in this game. And I just think, the Panthers will be hungry to get a win because of last week's hiccup against the Roosters, but I think that the Panthers will be too strong the Storm will be too strong for the Panthers at home. What do you think, Ella? I'm not even going to ask you that because I know you're going to tip the Panthers.
I'm going for Panthers. You can't stop me.
Yes, I know. I know. Yep, you're tipping the Panthers. I'm tipping the Storm.
Of course you are.
In that one. Rightio, Friday night, 6 p.m. over there in New Zealand. Go Media Stadium in Auckland. The Warriors take on the Roosters, who had a cracking win against the Panthers last week. The Warriors, they too had a great win last week against the Manly Sea Eagles, 36 points to 16. To get their winning ways after Vegas at the start of the year. Look, a pretty settled squad there that I can see from that side that played against Manly. For the Roosters, again, the same sort of lineup that played against the Panthers and got that victory. Sandon Smith and Chad Townsend, the halves there. Victor Radley returns from concussion protocols. So great to see Victor the Inflictor back. Lindsay Collins as well, back on the interchange bench as well. The last time these two sides met, it was last season. It was a big win, 20-point win to the Roosters, 38 points to 18. And again, the Roosters in 2023 beat them 14 points to 0. So I only played the one time last season. Looks like the Roosters have a little bit of a stranglehold over the Warriors, although I think this is a different side, especially with James Fisher-Harris in this team. In New Zealand, who are you going to tip, Ella, in this one?
I'm going for the Roosters in this one.
Little bit of an upset, I think, but the way that they play, the interesting thing for them, they do get Spencer Leniu back as well, so that's a big in for them. I think the interesting thing about them will be to see if they can back up last week's great win against the Panthers. That'd be a big thing for them to go back-to-back victories. And the big thing for the Warriors will be to see if they can back up their win against Manly with a win against the Roosters at home again. It's very crucial to win your home game. So, look, I'm going to go the Warriors in this one. Moving on to 8 p.m. on Friday night, it is a Big Brother versus Little Brother in Queensland. It is the Broncos taking on the Cowboys at Suncorp Stadium. Now, these games are usually really, really entertaining ones, sometimes even close, only decided by a field goal, but sometimes they can be really big scores as well. As it was last season, the Broncos got the win 42 points to 18, and also they got the win 38 points to 12 early on in the season as well. So some big scores there, some big wins to the Broncos. Since 1998 in the NRL, they played 58 times. The Broncos 37 wins, the Cowboys 20, only the one draw. The Broncos, they lost to the Raiders 32 points to 22 last week down in Canberra. That was a big game. That was a great game, that one. The Cowboys, they lost at home to the Sharks, 36 points to 12. They haven't won a game yet this season. The Broncos have only won one game this season as well. So, look, it'll be very interesting what happens here because the Cowboys, they will want to get a win. Jason Taumalolo has been named back in as prop. which is a big thing for the Cowboys, that is for sure. And Jeremiah Nanai has come back on to the interchange bench. For the Broncos, it looks like the same team that played last week down in Canberra, so not any changes in that one. Look, this one's at Suncorp Stadium, 8 p.m. Friday night. When else would the Broncos play at Brisbane at home? None other than a Friday night, so this should attract a big crowd. Ella, who are you going for in this one?
I'm going for the Broncos.
Yes, look, I totally agree with you on that one. I will be going the Broncos as well in this one.
Okay, that's good.
I just don't know about the Cowboys and whether they can get a victory against the Broncos this time around. Super Saturday kicks off at Shark Park with the Sharks taking on the Rabbitohs at Shark Park there. Now, look, the Rabbitohs, they've actually surprised, I guess, a lot of people recently with 2 wins. They had a 1-point victory over the Dragons last week. A Jamie Humphries field goal got them home there. They had a 2-point win against the Dolphins in round 1. Cam Murray, Latrell Mitchell are out. Everyone thought they may fall off the radar a little bit and be down the bottom, but Uncle Wayne has got them firing, and 2 wins out of 2 games. The Sharks, they had that loss in round 1 to the Panthers over there in Las Vegas, but they backed it up with a win against the Cowboys last weekend up there in Townsville, with a few disruptions as well that was going on throughout the team. So they are back at home for the first time this season, so they'll be desperate, or not desperate, but keen to get a win in front of their home fans, the first time for the season. Last time these two sides played was last season. The Sharks got a win 20 points to 6, and they also played earlier on in the year as well. The Sharks got the win 34 points to 22. It does look like that the Sharks have got a little bit of a they are a bogey side for the Rabbitohs, but I just think that the Sharks, they will be fired up in front of their home crowd for the first time this season. I think they will get the win in this one, so I am tipping the Sharks in this one. Ella, who are you tipping in this one?
I'm actually going against you on this one. I'm going for the Rabbitohs.
Okay, yes.
I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. It is a tipping competition, but the Rabbitohs have been playing some good footy, so
Well, yeah, so that's why I tipped them.
yeah, they may come back and get 3 out of 3. Jack Whiten is back, and great to see Campbell Graham playing some footy these days after having a long time out, and Jamie Humphries keeps that half-back position like he should. The second game, middle game of the weekend on Saturday, 5:30 p.m, is at KO Stadium up there in Redcliffe, and it sees the Dolphins take on the West Tigers, which should be a really good game. This one, I think the Dolphins is sitting 15th spot on the ladder. They are winless so far this season. So they will need to start getting some wins early on if they want to play finals football. The Tigers, they had a great win against the Parramatta Eels last week, 32 points to 6. Just narrowly went down to the Newcastle Knights in round 1 to 10 points to 8. The Dolphins, they have also played the Newcastle Knights, who they lost to last week, 26 points to 12, and they went down by 2 points to the Rabbitohs, 16 points to 14. Last time these two sides met last year, they've only met 3 times, and 2 times it was last season. The Dolphins have got the win on both occasions, 24 points to 12 and 26 points to 16. Look, we know this is a completely different Tigers outfit to that one of last year. It really does look like a good spine that they have. Jareen Buller, Lachlan Gowan, Jerome Luai and Api Coruscant. They gelled pretty well last week. They are playing some good footy. Sunya Taruva, he got 3 tries last week against the Eels. He'll want to get his try scoring up again this weekend against the Dolphins. Look, this one played at Redcliffe. First home game for the Dolphins of 2025. Again, in front of their home fans, they will want to give them something and get the win in this one to get their season started and get a win and try and maintain connection with that top 8. So, look, I think it could be a close game. I think there could be a lot of points scored in this one. Ella, who are you tipping this one?
I'm going for the West Tigers again.
Okay, yes. 2 weeks in a row you're going for them. I'm going to go for the Dolphins in this one. I think they could get their first win of the season at home. So I'm going to go the Dolphins in that one. The last game on Saturday sees the Titans take on the Newcastle Knights up there on the Gold Coast at 7:35 p.m. at Seabus Super Stadium. And Newcastle versus the Gold Coast Titans. Newcastle sit in 4th position. The Titans sit in 12th, having the bye in round 1 and then losing last week to the Bulldogs. So, look, Newcastle, a lot of people are surprising them, I think, at the moment. Just the way that they are playing. They've got a couple of outs at the moment. Kai Pearce-Paul, I think, is under suspension, and Leo Thompson is out injured as well. So that's a big loss for them. Brodie Jones comes into that prop position for the Newcastle Knights. And I think it's Tyson Frizzell has gone from lock to second row, I think, and Adam Elliott has come into that lock position for Kai Pearce-Paul as well. For the Gold Coast Titans, interesting to see David Fafita on the interchange bench. To be honest, I thought he may be starting, but Coach Des Hasler sees something different for them. The first home game for the Gold Coast Titans, and we all know that teams love to play better in front of their home fans, so they will want to get a win here. That is for sure. Regan Campbell-Gillard, first home game for the Gold Coast Titans, having come from the Parramatta Eels. Last time these two sides met, it was a win to the... Let me just get that one. It was a win to the Newcastle Knights, and they beat them twice in 2024, 36 points to 14, and up there on the Gold Coast in May it was 28 points to 24. So, look, I think there might be a lot of points scored in this one as well. Ella, who are you going to tip in this one?
I am going for the Newcastle Knights.
Yes, I'm going to go for the Newcastle Knights as well in this one.
I already know who I'm going through in the next game.
Yes, and for those following along at home, who knows which game it is that we are about to talk about.
It's an Eels game.
Okay, who are the Eels playing on Sunday?
The Bulldogs.
At CommBank Stadium, so two arch rivals playing in round number 3, which, you know, they played around a similar time in round number 2, I think it was last season at CommBank Stadium. The Eels got the win 26 points to 8. Later on, the King's birthday Monday game, the Bulldogs got the win 22-18. I think, look, these are two different sides at the moment, aren't they? The Bulldogs made the semi-finals last year. The Eels missed out. They were playing for Spoon Bowl. And even the start of this season as well, the Bulldogs 2 consecutive wins and the Eels 2 consecutive losses, so, and big losses as well. So very interesting how this one will be. Look, Coach Jason Riles has brought in Dean Hawkins into that halfback position for Sunday's game. Now, he was probably brought in to the club from South Sydney as a replacement for Mitchell Moses when he was either injured or played representative football. So it makes common sense that he'd come back. He did start the season injured, the off-season injured, so he came back last week in New South Wales Cup, played about 40 minutes, and he's got that nod. Ronald Volkman has been dropped from that side. Basically the same team that lost to the West Tigers. No Josh Addo-Carr. He hasn't been named. He has been named as number 21. Not 100% sure what's going on in there, because definitely would have thought he would have been in that starting side. Jordan Samrani has held his spot there, number 5 at the moment. So we'll just have to wait and see closer to game day whether the Fox plays his former club, the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs, 2 big outs for them. Matt Burton, Viliami Kikau, MCL knee injuries, so they are out for a while, 4 to 6 weeks I think it is. Bailey Hayward comes into that 5/8 spot for the Bulldogs, and Satili Tupanua, he comes in straight in off the bench into that second row spot. So a couple of crucial outs for the Bulldogs. So look, I don't know how that's going to affect them, but look, these two sides, they love playing each other. I expect to be a massive crowd there on Sunday, only because of these two sides. And look, it doesn't matter how bad one of these sides is going. I think there still will be a massive crowd at this game on Sunday. Hopefully the weather is good. As she alluded to before, Ella is tipping the Bulldogs.
Yes, of course I am.
And I am going to go Parramatta. I think they can.
I think that's a classic for you.
Look, I think this will be a close game.
And we're on to the last game now.
Yeah, look, I think the Parramatta Bulldogs game will be a close one. I think there could be a lot of points scored, but I think it could be a close one between those two sides. So I just think that Parramatta might just get off the bottom of the ladder and get their win. Well, I'm hoping so. Anyway.
And we're already on to the last game.
Yes, as you said, it is the last game of round 3, 6:15 game at 4 Pines Park in Sydney, which sees the Sea Eagles take on the Manly. The Manly Sea Eagles take on the Canberra Raiders. The Canberra Raiders, they are playing some good footy at the moment. Obviously had that good win in Vegas. Backed it up again against the Broncos last week. Can they make it a three-peat? The Manly Sea Eagles, they went down to the Warriors over there in New Zealand, 36 points to 16. They absolutely demolished the Cowboys, 42 points to 12. The big concern for them last week was Daly Cherry Evans with back spasms and Tom Travojevic with a bit of a hamstring complaint. That's why he came off the field. Bit of tightness, I think it was. Look, they have been named. I think they just have to gauge them close to game day and see how they are and if they're going to play. It is a long season, and this is only round 3. Jake Arthur has been named at number 20, but you also have for Manly, you could have Kula play fullback if need be. Look, at a pinch, you could have Ruben Garrick, but you'll probably go either Kula or Lehigh Hopewadi as well. He proved last year that he could play at fullback. For Canberra, look, Zach Hosking unfortunately has a hand injury and is out. So he is out of this team, unfortunately for him. And the double try hero, Matty Nicholson, he gets a starting spot in that second row, which is great news for him. Absolutely blitzed it, come over from the English Super League and scored a couple of meat pies in his first game in the NRL, and now he's got a starting spot thanks to, unfortunately, the injury to Zach Hosking. The last time these two sides met, look, it was a really high scoring game, 46 points to 24 to the Sea Eagles. That was down in Canberra, and the time before that was actually on my birthday, Friday the 3rd of May.
Oh wow, your birthday.
Yeah, Manly and Canberra played, and it was a 2-point win to the Raiders at 4 Pines Park, so maybe that could be a bit of an omen. Look, I don't think so. Ella, who are you going to tip in this one?
I am going for the Sea Eagles.
Yes, I'm going to go for the Sea Eagles as well.
Well, good.
Yes, I think they can get the win at home. They showed against the Cowboys in round one that they are a massive, better side at home. All eyes will be on Tommy Turbo and DCE, that is for sure. And the Dragons have the bye this weekend.
Bye-bye.
So they will get the 2 points. They haven't won a game this year, but they will get the 2 points. And Flano is absolutely going to flog them at training. As he said in the press conference, he would not want to be one of his players over the next 10 to 12 days. Okay, so recapping your tips, Ella, who are you tipping?
Let me just get my tips back up.
Yep.
Okay.
You
Okay,
are
they've loaded.
going...
Panthers, Roosters, Broncos, Rabbitohs, West Tigers, Knights, Bulldogs, and Seagulls.
And I'm going the Storm, Warriors, Broncos, Sharks, Dolphins, Knights, Eels, Seagulls. So,
Okay.
look, you guys can follow us if you want with our tips, but probably the way that we're going at the moment, probably not really.
Follow me.
You're
Noam.
probably going a bit better at the moment than us. But look, enjoy your rugby league over the weekend with whichever team you support. Good luck in your tips this week. Keep an eye out on the Instagram page for the results of round number 3. And look, enjoy your footy and the Paracave podcast by the fan, for the fans. Go Para!
Bye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Paracave Podcast. See you next time.